A new poll commissioned by us here at the Media Research Center with McLaughlin Associates showed over half of voters in a massive study blame big tech for election interference in the 2020 election. Coming up next on TechShark. You're watching TechShark, bite-sized news for conservatives surfing the net. For those who have been sleeping under a rock, the New York Post uncovered emails last year indicating that then-candidate Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, pursued lucrative deals involving China's largest private energy company, including one that he said would be interesting for me and my family. The story hit shortly before the 2020 election, and Twitter and Facebook both took action against the story, much like they had for another Hunter Biden scandal involving dealings in Ukraine. The New York Post account was censored, sharing the story was restricted, and Twitter suspended users for even sharing the story. So the Media Research Center called upon the polling experts at McLaughlin Associates to interview 1,000 Americans of all stripes and political ideologies and see how they felt. The findings spoke volumes. When asked, do you believe that Facebook, Twitter, and other social media sites' censoring of the now confirmed Hunter Biden email story constitutes election interference, 51.8% responded yes. An additional 15.9% said they didn't know. Just 32.2%, less than a third of those interviewed, responded no. In other words, less than a third really seemed sure that the world's biggest tech companies had not stolen the election. That's not all either. Nearly half of the respondents, 49.2%, also said that it wasn't appropriate for Facebook and Twitter to block the story about Joe Biden from being seen by users before the election. Newsbusters reported on a completely different poll, also by McLaughlin and Associates in late 2020. The research indicated that 36% of Biden voters were not aware of the evidence linking Joe Biden to corrupt financial dealings with China through his son, Hunter. 13% of these voters, or 4.6% of Biden's total vote, said that had they known these facts, they would not have voted for the former vice president. That would have been enough to swing the election. Now here's the shark bite. Maybe you don't care about the Hunter Biden scandals. Maybe you can set aside the fact the media would have gone nuts if the scandal had happened to Trump. They were outraged about him having 2 scoops of ice cream after all.
And then the gem. At the dessert course, he gets 2 scoops of vanilla ice cream with his chocolate cream pie, instead of the single scoop for everyone else.
But here's a serious question about our whole idea of democracy, here and elsewhere. A huge amount of the electorate, enough to swing the election, would have voted differently if they had known the truth, if big tech had allowed them to see the truth. Imagine if it were any issue, something stupid, like whether Biden preferred chocolate or vanilla ice cream.
Chocolate chip.
If big tech hid that fact in order to get him elected, the issue may not have mattered to you. But if you're deciding for millions of other people what issue matters and what they shouldn't care about, then do you really believe in all this democracy stuff? Even liberal news outlets like the New York Times and Politico have more or less admitted conservative concerns were kind of legitimate about this scandal. Of course, many legacy media sources called the story Russian disinfo because the difference between a conspiracy theory and a conspiracy fact is a few months, or at least until after the election is over. To quote Hillary,
what difference at this point does it make?
If big tech and legacy media control what you see about different politicians, and then you go and vote based upon that incomplete information, the whole idea of fair elections is kind of nonsense, because the powers that be did everything but fill out your ballot. It's a scary thought, right? So you've been watching TechShark. Once again, I'm Alexander Hall with MRCTV and Free Speech America. Have a good week.